Hello, happy solstice. Welcome to my YouTube channel and to this crystalline frequency sound ceremony. I'm glad to be doing this. I've been connecting with Gaia today in nature, in the heart of nature here, and in my own nature, my own sacred center, my heart, and doing some breathing and meditation and to connect as much as possible with my divine self, my higher self. And yeah, I'm glad to be here. And solstice has always been a special, special time for ceremony. I've been doing these for a long, long time. I can't remember how many years, and 2 years ago, I launched the Regeneration Oasis here, my retreat center for regenerating. And I've decided, or the forces or the situation is that I am now closing that chapter in my life and moving on to other adventures, to a new location in the eastern townships. And I'm excited about this new adventure and just being more of my own creative self and not to have as much to take care of on the physical level, because this was a big, big endeavor. And sometimes we need to learn by doing. So I had wonderful experiences here. There were beautiful retreats. And I'm very happy that it happened. And now it's time for other adventures. So again, letting go, all a process of non-attachment and transformation. And so, yeah, and the energies today have been, since the eclipse, the solar eclipse, they've been quite intense. I don't know if you're having any symptoms, but I've had some activations here in my third eye a lot. I can feel just a lot of movement in my cells, in my body, like a vibration, electric current. This is normal because we are experiencing massive frequency shifts, which I'm going to talk about just a little bit. The Schumann resonance has been off the charts. It's been really, really high. So that is the frequency of our planet. And that is shifting because the core, the crystalline core of the planet, this is also something that's been coming through lately. As I'm studying and also meditating, I'm taking David Wilcock's Galactic Mind mystery school. So this is my third mystery school. So now, obviously, I love this stuff. I love learning about universal wisdom, the codes of creation, all of that. And yeah. And so I'm happy to share some of that information with those who are interested. So my name is Sonya Sunheart. I use this name as my, I guess, my golden age. I don't know how to say, but the artist, the creative woman that expresses herself through the heart and the frequencies of love. This came through again through an experience with breath and connection to spirit. So I had an interview yesterday with Mr. Andy Martins, a very, very kind man who is interested in a lot of this and empowering people with information that can assist them at this time of incredible transformation. So as we know, we're going through something massive on the planet right now, and there's different ways of perceiving this and understanding it, and I don't really want to get into that tonight. What I would like to say, though, is that we are aligning with a certain timeline. I'm aligning personally with an organic ascension. I'm choosing to be sovereign, to align with my divinity, with my sovereignty. And what this means is that I will not tolerate anything being posed or in my life that goes against my own values and the way that I understand my body. And yeah, so again, these are choices. This is what's happening right now on the planet, and people are free, really free to choose. There's enough information out there for those who want to dive deeper and go down those information streams, then wonderful. And for those who don't, they would rather just go with what is being told in the mainstream narrative, then so be it. You know, I mean, it is a free will zone. This is an experience, an experiment of what it is to be human, what it is to be a soul embodied in a vessel that is organic and ascending, so transforming, evolving, all of that. And as I was mentioning yesterday in the interview, we talked about the guru and how bringing the darkness into the light is really what it's all about. So we're doing that collectively, and we're doing that personally. On the personal level, it's the genetics, the ancestral lineage that we came with. It's in our DNA. So that's what we've been clearing and transforming and bringing into more light, because we're allowing the light to actually clear that more and more. This is a choice. These are decrees. These are this is, you know, energy flows where attention goes. So if we're focusing on the transformation of our DNA and detoxing from a lot of the old patterns and habits and stories and belief systems that we came in with, we need to do that at this time. We really do. I mean, it's pretty obvious, right? That a lot of what has been happening is just, you know, doesn't serve necessarily most people. It serves the multi-billionaires, or I don't know if it's trillionaires now or what, but there's definitely a mismatch. And this is what we are collectively, I believe, meant to transcend, is giving our power away and to finally step into our sovereign self, our God essence. So I'm very grateful to be in a position right now to have the abundance that I require to be able to focus on my spiritual path. So I have been doing that for quite a while, and I really wanted to share a lot of this information by starting a YouTube channel of the embodied wisdom of experiences that this being had in this lifetime. Like, that's all I can really talk about or share or transmit is my own story, my own experiences, and then the information that comes through to empower you with stepping into yourself and your divinity and your essence. Because the herd mentality, the idea that we just follow, you know, the crowd or the sheep that are just kind of flocking together and all that, that can be dangerous. It can be very positive if it's going in a good direction, but it can be extremely dangerous, as we know from history, that just obeying is not necessarily always the best option, right? So I'm not promoting a revolution or any of that. I've been an activist, but I'm not focusing on that anymore, because I realize that everything here is repeating. So we need to break free from this looping kind of, like we talk about a revolution, that's going around in a circle. A revolution is, but a spiral is going up, it's ascending. So ascending means not repeating the same loop, the same pattern, because you can do that for a very long time. Like you can reincarnate over and over again and have the same kind of lessons and experiences over and over. And that's like a Groundhog Day scenario. So but again, each person, I've come to that awareness through my own insight, and to say, this is where I'm breaking free from these karmic loops and these toxic habits and these old belief systems of lack, and that I'm not enough, and that I will be judged, or I'm going to be, these are like old templates, and they're ingrained in us. And the other day there was a joke about, I wonder why we in the stories for kids, for example, why we're not afraid of those who burn the witches instead of the witches. It's like there's something interesting going on with the history and who writes history. And as we're seeing the exposures more and more of what was hidden, which is invitable in these times, everything that's hidden is coming up. So whether that's in your own relationships or in our society, this is what's happening. Revelation times to reveal, the stuff that was hidden. And some of it's not pretty. And we're going to be, some of us have known that for a long time and have tapped into those realms, those dark, 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 dark places. And I can say, like barely came out. And I think those of you who are still connected here listening, you can relate to that. And if you don't, that's totally fine. Like that's why we have such a diversity of perspectives and ways of understanding our world. And for me, this is a passion. This is something that, I've been on this path for a long time. And I'm just grateful now that I also have a tribe and people that I can relate with during these times, because spending time alone is wonderful. And we also need human contact and real connections and friendships and conversations about these things. So I'm super grateful that I do have these friends in my life and soul family. And and I love everyone. I'm a loving being, and I've become very conscious and sensitive to energy, and knowing that I don't necessarily want to be with a lot of people a lot of the time. So I'm really honoring that in myself. And that's also something I realized by the retreats. And then this whole situation made me realize that, it's not for everyone to have groups of people all the time, especially in your home when you're. So anyways, I came to realize that, and I'm looking forward to the next chapter in my life. And so that's on a personal story level that I'd like to share, because I've been sharing for almost 3 years on YouTube. And it hasn't been growing. I haven't been looking at, the marketing aspect or any of that, because honestly, this is like, for me, a place to share, and whoever picks up on it, and sometimes I get comments, and sometimes people will see it a year later, because people will find the information when they need it, when and so I like that. And I like the fact that I can just speak my truth. I'm not, it's just a nice place to do that. And I'm also writing my book. So I was going to do a course, but I've put that aside. I have a lot of creative projects. It's a highly creative time for us, because as we're shifting, we can look at the destruction of the old world and what that is doing, or we can shift it into the creative aspect of the emerging new earth, golden age reality. So I'm really grateful to be doing that on my own and with some great friends. And there's more to come. There's a lot of people I haven't met yet that I will be tuning into the frequencies. So ceremonially, I will just mention quickly that today is the Gene Key 15, and it's also in the book, the I-Ching. So the book of time is, again, like I was mentioning, that everything is like a story and it's playing itself out. It's like a fractal. So again, in quantum, we're starting to realize in the science of it that we're kind of repeating cycles and stories until we bust through the threshold of another dimension or frequency. So right now we're fluctuating between the two. That's what's happening. And yeah, there's a lot of people talking about that in more detail. You could look at the Heart Math Institute for Heart Coherence. They've been monitoring what's going on the planet. And as I was mentioning, it's in the heart. So it's just, things are becoming more crystalline, more pure, more clear. It's not always easy to explain, but I can feel it. And this is also this intuitive, receptive, feminine energy that is really taking over the planet right now. And this is also all part of the prophecies and the alignments, and causing a lot of chaos, because the old systems don't like that very much, right? So even becoming a spiritual teacher and sharing and being out there is not always easy for women, because it's been a journey, to have that confidence and to know that you can be strong within yourself, and you can love yourself as you are and find yourself beautiful. And that self-love is so important. So whatever that is for you, however that makes you feel, do that. Make your life your masterpiece. It's your life. It's your choice. Don't let anybody, you're gonna get judged. You're gonna get, I guess, if even comments that you're like, like I don't really. This isn't what this is about. It's. But accepting just whatever is, wherever people are at too, just that, having that compassion and that understanding that not everybody has a deep, profound awareness of the unity that we share, and that we're each a diverse part of that unity. And if we could embrace that and love it in each other, then we're getting rid of war and division and duality. And that's what's happening, but it's being purged out of our collective now, and it's being brought up into the awareness that, is this really serving us? Hi, Indigo Fire Angel. Yeah, staying heart-centered can totally be challenging. That's true. That's why having moments every day to connect to the heart, to the breath, to create coherence in your own field is super important. So however you do that, like I said, I was in nature. That's really helpful. And the bowls, singing, baths. I have magnesium flakes. Those are really good because actually magnesium is super important, that most people are lacking in magnesium. So if you might want to add that to your skin cream, your bath. You can also take calcium and magnesium supplements. Those are really good. So yeah, because again, we've lost so much in our soils and all that. So it's important to be able to get those back into the body. And yeah, a healthy body, healthy mind. You can make healthy choices. You were hearing that earlier. That's cool. The thing is, what's happening too is we're all kind of plugging into the same or similar field of information. Those that are focusing on that, we're like, it's becoming apparent that there is a certain, I guess, destiny. Yeah. So super interesting times to be alive, to be stepping into your expression, your divinity, loving yourself. You don't need a partner to give yourself that love, to massage yourself, to coconut oil and all that. I was doing that in the sun yesterday, and oh my god, it felt so blissful. So giving yourself those moments, those are really important. You can, if you're with a partner, wonderful, you can do that together. I will have a partner again one day, I know that. But the self-love is really your own job to do that. So yeah. So, and any other I guess deficiencies, I would say the sun, talking about the sun today, solstice, which is soon going to be the day in 2 days, the day where we're going to have the most sun. And yeah, so we can really bring in more light and consciously choose to do that. The sun is our friend, vitamin D, and just so amazing. We've been told like it's bad, it's cancer, it's this and that, and now they're starting to find out that the creams with the parabens, which are cancer causing agents, are actually what causes the cancer. So if you get out there without cream, or just coconut oil, whatever, your skin is going to glow. I'm telling you, it's amazing. Since I've been getting more sun, I just feel better. So that's super important. It boosts our immune system. There's so many benefits. Anyways, everybody can look that up, and I'm sure many people already know that, but so yeah, for the Gene Key 15 today, and in the I-Ching, it's the Modesty. It's called Modesty. So again, it's all about being humble and yet being empowered at the same time. And that self-love and that honoring yourself, a lot of people might say, oh, she's, full of herself, or she's whatever, projections that, because when you're stepping into who you are and the strength that actually has, a lot of people are not going to like that. Don't dim just to fit in, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So that's what I've been learning, is just be yourself and do what you love to do and share your wisdom, and you'll see the people and the tribe that you're meant to be with will show up. And oh my god, like, talk about high frequency living and being and shining, and just aligning with that more and more. And it feels good. It feels really good. So, and again, all the belief systems of, as you get older, you have this, it's like, no, you can flip the script, flip it all upside down and say, as I get older, I'm getting better, I'm getting wiser. It's just, we can flip the script we're creator beings. We're made in the image of the creator, and we are here to create our reality. And I think we're really starting to get that. And that's very empowering. And I'm hoping that we can continue that journey in that accelerated mode, or just the natural mode that it's taking, actually, because we're all on our different journeys, but we are kind of coming together. I can feel it. I can feel the strength of coming together in the field and meditating and praying, visualizing, having those visions of the new earth and what's possible for us, where we can go with this, right? We can take it to the next level and bust through the limitations that we were taught that this is what it is in this reality. So it's happening, and it's exciting, and I focus on that to empower and to bring in abundance. And because the more abundant I am on every aspect, the more I can be in the world and share my gifts and not have to worry about the lower frequency things that can take over our lives when we are in survival mode. And I just want to put that out there for people that are struggling in those ways. Whatever you're focusing on amplifies. Abraham Hicks, I listen to her often because it just gives me a boost again. It's like, oh yeah, right. So every day, anything that's empowering. The new thought leaders are amazing. Brian Scott, I've mentioned him before, and all of that. So I know I'm talking a lot, and this is a ceremony, but I think it goes together because bringing awareness to where energetically things are at in my journey, and then those that I'm sharing that with at this time or at a later time that are going to be viewing this, listening. And, I feel like I've always been kind of able to see a certain future timeline coming through. So I'm going in that direction. And then like the rainbow bridge, it's like you're on the other side, and then you're saying to people over here, just cross over the bridge. We're gonna, have a good time on this side. You don't have to go, you don't have to suffer anymore. You don't have to be in pain to prove anything about anything, really. So for me, I've had it wired in my DNA, like the martyr kind of, like just this highly I don't know how to explain it, but it's in my gene keys. I'm made a certain way where I've had to go through these very difficult lessons until finally I get it. It's like, you don't need to go through hell or purgatory or any of that to be able to climb to the top of the mountain and enjoy the view, enjoy the sunshine, enjoy these times of transformation, make your own heaven on earth, create your own reality the way you love it. Again, it's unique to each one of us. Some people are not into any of what I'm doing, and obviously they're not here listening. And then others are, and so I'm really happy to just have the freedom to share that. I'm not against anything. I'm not judging. I think that's an important place to be as we're creating our reality, is to allow others to do the same. And what's fun is to bask in each other's gifts and allow that to bring joy and happiness into our own lives. If we can do that, if we're into, comparison, competition, these things can just not really allow us to be in the heart. So I'm just going to read quickly the modesty one. I just like being with the energies that are right now, the way like the point we are in time space is reflecting a certain energy. And the 15th gene key is where we're at right now, and it lasts for 4 days. And so I read these and I kind of bask in with those energies. And I look at if it's in my chart, my hologenetic profile in the gene keys. I'll put a link underneath if you want to go check that out. It's helped me a lot on my path to align with just my own service, what I love to do, and to get to know myself. And I'm still contemplating and doing that when I can, because it's just a beautiful way to use the mind in connecting dots, with the codons. And so, yeah. The hexagram is made up of the trigrams Ken, which is keeping still, mountain, and Kun. The mountain is the youngest son of the creative, the representation of heaven on earth. It dispenses the blessings of heaven, the clouds and rain that gather round its summit, and thereafter shines forth radiant with heavenly light. This shows what modesty is and how it functions in great and strong men. Kun, the earth, stands above. Lowliness is a quality of the earth. This is the very reason why it appears in the hexagram as an exalted, by being placed above the mountain. This shows how modesty functions in simple people, and they are lifted up by it. Modesty creates success. The superior man carries things through. If the law of heaven to make fullness empty and to make full what is modest, when the sun is at its zenith, it must, according to the law of heaven, turn towards its setting, and at its nadir, it rises towards a new dawn. In obedience to the same law, the moon, when it's full, begins to wane, and when empty of light, it waxes again. This heavenly law works itself out in the fates of men also. It is the law of earth to alter the full and to contribute to the modest. High mountains are worn down by the waters, and the valleys are filled up. It is the law of fate to undermine what is full and to prosper the modest, and when men also hate fullness and love the modest. The destinies of men are subject to immutable laws that must fulfill themselves, but man has in his power to shape his own fate, according as his behavior exposes to the influence of benevolent or destructive forces. When a man holds a high position and is nevertheless modest, he shines with the light of wisdom. If he is in his lowly position and is modest, he cannot be passed by. Thus, the superior man can carry out his work to the end without boasting of what he has achieved. So again, we can see that humility and modesty are important. And it's a fine line sometimes, because if you've always been extremely humble and self-effacing, then sometimes you can go swing to the pendulum to the other extreme and say, here I am, and this, and just be like overdoing it. And so eventually you reach that balanced place where you can be strong in your essence, know that you're powerful, and be humble at the same time. Again, transcending the dualistic type of energies and thoughts that we are transcending a lot of duality in these higher levels of being. So that's just what's happening. And the gene key, the gift of the gene key is magnetism, and the shadow is dullness. So again, somebody who's very self-effacing and doesn't, is extremely shy or fearful of being out there. I was one of those for a long time. And it took a lot to get me. That's why I did it. It's the fear of public speaking, the fear of being out there, of being judged, of being criticized, of all these things was so strong. And probably from past lifetimes of, judgment and persecution and all these things that were coming through, I had to transmute them and be able to do this. So some of you are maybe doing that, thinking of starting your channel or speaking more or sharing your own story, you know, all of these things. I think it's great. I think it's cathartic. I think it allows us to really step into more of our beingness, which is actually the whole point, I think, of being here, you know, and aligning with those loving frequencies that can support us no matter what, even if we're hitting the bottom of the bottom, or there's always that light that comes back, you know. I know that. And so the light and the love win. Whatever this whole thing is like, when you finally surrender, that's all that's left, you know. So yeah. And I'm not going to read too much because I will get into the sound. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do a timestamp underneath, so that if people want to go directly to the sound ceremony, they can do that, click on it, and that way they can not have to listen to everything. So that's one way of doing it. And if you are listening and you're interested, thank you. I appreciate it. And like I said, I'm very grateful to be able to share some of this, and because these tools are great in these times, you know, to get to know thyself on that soul spiritual level. I think a lot of the fear is because people have the fear of the unknown, which is death, basically, or, you know, getting old, or these things that are, you know, are inevitable. But death is just getting rid of a garment, the suit, the vessel, and stepping into the next. If you're comfortable with that, that's great. You have a bit of an advantage because you're not going to get sucked into that fear, and you're going to so yeah, that's what we are in. I think the most important thing is to really find that connection to source. I really, really do, because then you find that peace. That part of us that feels disconnected and all that, it's because we're not connected to our source. And that's the most important thing. Everything else is important too, you know, the body and all of our everything, the relationships, the food, the environment, the being joyful and having, you know, friends and family. Everything's important to have a great experience. And yet there's always going to be something missing, I think, until we really get it, that we are souls, eternal souls, having a human experience in this plane of reality at this time. And we're going to have more. And maybe this lifetime, what I'm feeling is that the memory of who we actually are as a soul is really coming in now and anchoring, so that we don't have to forget. We can just go with that awareness. So like the Buddhists and the rainbow bridge, you know, to the other realm. Perhaps we're preparing for that. And we're not going to have to necessarily die. So we'll see, you know. I mean, if everything's consciousness and we are in a time-space ship, then perhaps we're coming to those realizations, and we'll see. Interesting. So anyways, the gene keys are great. Again, I love them, and I use them a lot, and so I'm going to do a little sound right now at 39 minutes. Ooh, I talked a lot, but so I'll ask you to get comfortable, sit upright. Make sure that your spine is straight and that you Have a straight neck. Pull back slightly. Take a deep breath. Hold it a little bit. Pull up your energy. And release. Exhale all the air right at the bottom of your belly. Inhale. One more time. Just allow the frequencies of the crystalline vibrations release any tension, any limiting thoughts. Allow these new energies, the golden crystalline light, to enter your soul. You can put your hand on your heart. Know that your heart is beating with Gaia, the frequencies of the Mother. The Divine Mother is there to support you. In unconditional love. Remember your innocence. Remember your golden child. Remember who you are. Remember you are a star. We are infinite beings of love and light, visiting this planet for a little while, enjoying the journey, enjoying Gaia, appreciating Gaia, appreciating every moment, every breath. Well, this was fun. Thank you. Thank you for being here. I hope this transmission was well received into your heart. I wish you the best on this next part of the journey, on this solstice portal, and the new galactic year is starting July 26th. So I'm going to talk about that in my next video. The Mayan timeline. This is what my tattoo is about. Remembering the cosmic self. Again, there's no galactic beings that are going to save us. We are the galactic beings that are here in the past to remind ourselves about who we are becoming and who we're meant to be as star beings with a upgraded crystalline frequency. Thank you. Be well and see you next time. Bye.